This video is part 1 in a series of videos on matrix math in Excel. In Excel, matrices are referred to as arrays. In this video, I'll be going over a couple different things. First, I'll be going over how to name arrays, and second, I'll be going over 2 methods for simple array calculations. If I go to my spreadsheet, I have 3 matrices here. The first and second are both 3x3 matrices. The third is a 1x1 matrix, which is also just a single number. To name an array or matrix, you must first highlight the entire range of cells that makes up the array. And in the name box, you enter the new name. In this case, it'll be A. For the next one, it'll be B. And for the third one, it'll be C underscore, because the name C is already taken by a built-in Excel function. So here, if I re-highlight these, I can see A, B, and C. If I go to the name box and just type in A, it'll highlight the whole range that is A. Something useful to do when you're working with Excel matrices is to add formatting to the matrices to make them easier to identify. For example, one method would be to add a border around them to box in the matrix. Another would be to color, so I could color this pink, or you can do a combination of the two. Some people, to keep it more in line with what the matrices look like on paper, when they're doing a border, they'll maybe just add one on either side to box it in like a matrix. Now there are 2 primary ways for simple Excel array calculations. The first is a brute force method. It uses simple cell referencing. And the second uses built-in arrays. I'll show you the difference between them. If I go back to my spreadsheet, I'm going to delete the sizes here, and I'm going to create a new matrix called D. For this example, I'm going to add together matrix A and matrix B. So I'll first do the brute force method. So I'll enter equals the first part of A plus the first part of B. And then using the fill handle, I'll simply drag and fill in the rest of the matrix. And I'm going to go ahead and box in my matrix. And it's rather easy to do. If you select any one of these cells, you can see the resulting formula up top that'll show you what it's referencing. However, it doesn't show you the names of the matrix since it uses only relative referencing. So here, I'm going to create another matrix called E. For this example, I'm going to be using the built-in array functions. So I'm going to highlight the range of cells that my answer matrix is going to be, and I'm going to subtract the 2 matrices this time. So I'll do equals A minus B. And as I typed the A and the B, you can see the colored lines going around each of these arrays to show that A is the one with the blue around it, and B is the one with the green around it, to help you keep track of what you're referencing. But I don't just press enter. If I press enter, it'll fill in here and it won't answer it properly. So let me re-highlight this, equals A minus B, and instead you type Control-Shift-Enter, and it'll fill in the entire array. Now if you look up here in the formula bar, you can see that it says equals A minus B, and there's a curly bracket on either side. The curly brackets say that this is part of an array. So this single cell is still A minus B, but the curly brackets let you know that it's part of a larger array function. And I'm going to also box in this one. Now this doesn't just work for addition and subtraction between matrices. You can also do, for both methods, scalar addition, subtraction, or multiplication. So let's say in this case, I'll do this cell times the array A. Control-Shift-Enter, and there's my new matrix. Or let's say here, I'll do element-wise multiplication of that times that, and use the fill handle to fill in the rest. To show you the difference between the 2 element-wise multiplication, I can do equals A times B, which is the same calculation I did over here, Control-Shift-Enter, and I still get the same values. So although the 2 methods work a little bit differently, you get the same values between both of them. Now, one of my favorite parts about using array math like this is if I were to update one of these cells, for example, change 16 to 20, you could see that it changed all the cells that referenced it. So if I wanted to change from 7 to 0, watch carefully down here where these are. So here and here, change to 0. This decreased to 14 since it was added to this other matrix. If I want, I can change an entire matrix to zeros and see how much these changed as well. This way, if you update one matrix that's part of a larger calculation, your answer matrices will update as well, making sure all of your calculations stay in order.